That's all that you can really say. Disappointment is an understatement. Words I would like to use are not suitable for broadcast. And so the coaches are going to head off stage right now. And honestly, I mean, DWG Gaming's team composition, it's the bread and butter of the problems that have plagued them all throughout 2019 and at Worlds. Their players choose picks in isolation that don't have a lot of synergy with one another and don't really acknowledge what they're drafting into rather than what the players are probably just personally feeling in the moment, staring at select champs. So Griffin's team composition has a lot more cohesion with it. And the Aatrox, Jarvan, Corki, Lucian, and Yuumi, it has the Yuumi and the Corki as scaling components, but then you have champions that are trying to achieve different things. So if this team composition falls behind, there's no insurance policy.
That being said, they do have decent siege with this composition. You know, you can utilize the culling and the rockets coming out from Corki to really get people off a turret and take that one down. And as we hop into Summoner's Rift for game number 1, we'll see whether DAMWON can actually utilize this and pilot it effectively. Aatrox versus Renekton, one of the oldest matchups in the book, but one that Nuguri seems to really have a handle on. So far, his most played champion in solo queue this year, having 31 games on that one thus far. Not the most gigantic win rate, and he dies a lot, but he's Nuguri. He loves dying a lot. That is just his playstyle.
Well,
I find it interesting, though, that we saw the Sejuani face up. Canyon could have gone to Trundle.
He could have ended up going to Trundle, indeed. And, I mean, he could have chose a lot of other junglers, except for one that's Jarvan that's trying to run in to the Sejuani Azir misfortune. The champions that are basically saying that we're going to stand our ground, poke you via Azir, or pick you off with the Sejuani ultimate, and then kite backwards because you've already shown us the Aatrox, you've already shown us the Yuumi, you're showing that you have to come into us, you don't have any reliable counter poke or disengage or anything of that nature. And so DAMWON's team composition is so one-dimensional and off-theme with the Corki, which is what we can only assume to be a recalibration or a pivot on R5 to try to get some sort of value.
Sort of reminds me of all of the Zaya Rakan Corki comps that came in, I believe it was around spring, start of summer last year. They were super popular just because of how balanced they were damage-wise. They could scale very well into the late game with both magic damage crits and the AD crits at the same time. It's a similar idea here, but the Lucian, of course, does not scale quite as much. The ShowMaker's got a pretty good Corki win rate, so you can understand why ShowMaker specifically is picking up this champion. Well, Ucal should have a decent time. I mean, we're back at Azir Corki, man. It's happening. What goes around comes around.
We're back here for the time being, but I mean, honestly, it's actually probably going to be a lot worse for the LCK than other regions.
We did love it,
yeah,
particularly.
As Sejuani just going for full clear, Jarvan doing a bit of a bizarre clear, going to end up pathing up. They know exactly where Tarzan is, but he's just full clear, and we're going to get ping-pongs in every lane.
Well, of course.
Yeah, I mean, would you expect anything else there?
Yeah, I'd be worried if I saw anything else. I'd have to look at the map as to where we are. This isn't Europe.
Yeah.
You know? Come on, we ain't trendsetters over here. As Sword versus Nuguri, you can see so far Nuguri with the wave shove, but Sword actually getting out of the way of that sweet spot of the first queue wasn't too bad.
Is having FPS drops, actually.
Interesting.
I don't know if you're noticing that, but there's definitely some animations that are missing.
Uh-huh.
All right, well.
See whether that continues as time goes on, as Canyon might need to get out of here. Permafrost going to be available as Aftershock is going to proc down to about 150 as Canyon does make his way out. And of course, Arctic Assault now on cooldown, as Griffin are going to be able to take the Southern Rift Scuttler. So as far as having a crab dinner, it's just not going to happen here for DWG Gaming, and Griffin can be as greedy as they like with their seafood. Nuguri, pulling Sword back, and with Flash available on both sides, not going to be something that Nuguri wants to aggressively go towards, as Canyon here on his Krugs. Not going to get invaded.
Wasting time. They have no dive potential. They knew where Canyon was. And I guess he is not wanting to recall yet. He goes over to his Grom.
I think he wanted a gank, but then Sword got a little bit too low, so wasn't actually able to get in there and do anything. Maybe it was a call for Sword to try and bait, but unfortunately just lost a bit too much of his health bar before anything was possible, as this wave gets shoved in. A gigantic lead for Viper, but these minions will be picked up and should get things back to relative normalcy here for Nuclear. He's got Cleanse and Flash here towards the bottom side. Hoyt with pretty standard Yuumi runes at the moment in the heal and the exhaust.
Well.
Okay, Nuguri just bashing down onto Sword.
Getting a really good trade-off, and Sword can't really auto.
Yeah. Oh no, the slice getting completely cancelled. And Tarzan, again, wasting time. This feels like one of those games, you know, in solo queue, where the top laner is just crying from the very beginning. And that's what Tarzan is now answering, trying to be a good guy. Of course, not saying the Sword is. This might be part of the strategy that Griffin has. It's, the Umbral Dash going to be utilized there. Nuguri still has his Flash available, but he's not actually going to utilize it. Not level 6 yet, and just didn't see a way out. First Blood going down towards the bottom side, though, as Griffin taking names all over the ring.
Yeah, and it looks like Tarzan's now going to actually shove out with Sword up in top lane.
Well, I mean, that tent's certainly paying off, you know?
Tent is paying off, and it's a really good idea if you can end up just putting Nuguri behind. He does tend to, much like Summit, play the same way.
I think Nuguri gets the 0-2 power spike, and Summit doesn't.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, Nuguri still plays really aggressively. Sometimes it can be a detriment, as Irove, he's got the heal, and ShowMaker unfortunately just did not have the health. And Canyon didn't have the follow-up, as at the same time, you witnessed it earlier on.
And even if Tarzan doesn't get the kill right here, what they're waiting for is Nuguri to teleport back onto the minions. And as soon as he would do that, that would end the lane. So now as we come back into live, Executioner's Calling picked up on the Renekton. He's down 12 CS though, so that is sort of invalidating his assist.
Yeah, still going to need more if he's going to get ahead. As, okay. Nuguri waiting behind for some reason. Interesting.
Yep.
They do have control vision here towards the top side of the map, so protection for Nuguri is going to be there. Now he has level 6, so as far as 1v1s, if both of them press R buttons, I think my money's on Nuguri. That being said, the healing not going to be there because the execution is, so maybe Dominus will be stronger.
So the wave was just coming into Nuguri in top lane, and then he used his Q 3 times, even though his jungler is going to be in close proximity, obviously invading the blue. So right now, had he not consumed any of those minions, this entire wave that just arrived, while Sword goes over to check on the blue buff, would just end up getting completely eaten. Yep. And Nuguri would get an entire wave advantage of XP, extend the CS lead even further. And so I have no idea what is actually going on here up in top lane. It's just shove, 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 ping pong, over and over.
I really like it from Griffin's side. I know we've got some issues with how DWG's been treating it, but Griffin had some early vision towards the top side. They made sure that they got Sword that first successful gank and then transitioned all of their resources into bot side river. And they were able to take the dragon, they were able to take the blue buff, and I love teams that play around successful vision placements and their investments that they've made in the early game. And you can see there's 4 control wards down there, and they took everything that they wanted to as a result. And you can see that this Yuumi lane has been unable to play the way that it wants to in this particular matchup. So impressive stuff from Griffin in their early game. We'll see whether they can keep it up, as Corki versus Azir has been Corki favored in the past. See whether that's going to continue to do so, because of course Azir does have that ability to be the incredible team fighter that we saw yesterday. I think 2 of the best plays that we've had in recent memory, at least, have been Neon when he was on Dragon X. Now, of course, sitting behind Ucal here on Griffin, getting that extraordinary one, I believe, in the promotion tournament alongside Tucson. Just amazing. But yesterday, BDD's 3-man Shurima shuffle into the Dragon Pit was just a sight to behold. It's good to see some of these really amazing Azir players allowed to play the Azir once again, because when he's done right, He just looks really good. As, that's a bullet time.
Yeah,
Viper not wanting to deal with that minion wave as ShowMaker trying to offer damage back and does trade very well against Ucal.
Tarzan not really able to find anything at this point in time. Sword just trying to craft the wave, and Nuguri refusing.
He doesn't want that wave anywhere near his turret. It's not allowed.
And they just keep playing ping pong up in top lane. Nothing really being achieved over and over.
Ucal and ShowMaker very even on gold, despite ShowMaker actually going down earlier on. He's got the heal. He's got the teleport coming up very, very soon. That unsealed spellbook. Now has 28 minions left on his Cull also. So this is going to be Corki with a lot of money, building towards that Trinity Force, and of course looking for all of those juicy power spikes that Corki loves so much.
The ward on Tarzan's red not actually spotted out. And so they're going to know exactly where Tarzan is. He's going to end up recalling, going to get his Cinder Hulk right now.
His control ward is going to be taken. Hoyt, with his final chapter available right now, looking to try and get something done. Now, little cat in a book is wandering down the river. They do have vision, so he's going to be safe. It's always a little bit frightened, though, when humans are by themselves. Not really able to do too much.
And we're in a lull state. So,
yeah.
You know, I said before we started, 2 kills per 10 minutes.
Well, so far, the first 10 minutes has had adequate kills as far as that assessment is concerned. They are allowed to get more kills, though. So just a reminder to the players that it is now the second 10 minutes of the game.
Okay.
And so 2 more kills are on the agenda whenever they're ready.
Oh, all right. Well, now that you said it, Atlus.
Yeah, Tarzan's going to find one here as ShowMaker is going to go down pretty comfortably. Canyon as well. He doesn't want to give away the second kill just yet. Okay, not
yet.
just yet. He thought about it, and then he was like, no. There's still 9 minutes to go. Let's spread the wealth.
Yeah. You got to make sure not to kill it for the viewers.
I really need to apologize to DWG Gaming for that caster curse. That was not the optimal one, I don't think. However, it was a pretty comfortable gank here for Griffin. Tarzan just wanders on in, didn't have to invest anything. Ucal did use his heal and his flash, but it means that Tarzan can affect other lanes. That's a teleport in from ShowMaker, though, and DWG really do want to try and get something going. Canyon looking for the range, as not able to get the Cataclysm off, and finally presses the button as the Lantern just pulls the Sejuani away.
And
that was a comedy of errors.
In the end,
or outplays, depending on how you want to say it. There's in goes Ucal, gets the flash ultimate, and it's all too easy from me.
Also able to just shove the wave in right there. And we hear someone's pinging something.
There's a lot of going on.
Sword down in XP to Nuguri right now.
Nuguri with his Black Cleaver now completed. See where he goes next in the item build on this Aatrox. His magical boots also online, as you can see. The ShowMaker still farming very well. Of course, him and Chovy, our farmers. We were talking about Chovy yesterday. And ShowMaker certainly the other side of that coin. As Griffin looking to grab their second Drake. Of course, Ocean Soul or Infernal Soul, both fantastic for both teams. Of course, Infernal Soul with a Corki Lucian composition, not to mention the Aatrox, is going to be exactly what you want. Corki's double scaling, making that just too good, but it's going to be the Ocean Drake.
And Ocean Soul is really obnoxious for DWG to try to do anything against, because they're all so reliant on sustained damage inside of team fights.
Yep, that being said, they also have a lot of poke, so if DWG are able to stack 4 of them, as far as these poke battles, their disengage is also pretty strong with the Yuumi. And so having infinite mana on a team like this is certainly not what you want. Okay, the turret is going to stay up for now.
And this is going to cause them to stay, so a bit of a blunder right there, but they're going to end up getting it anyway in the end.
Yeah, Tarzan comes on over as there's the final chapter. It's a great relentless pursuit, gets them out of the way. They do clear another minion wave, so they bought a little bit of time with this one as the culling. Going to get eaten by Irove, throws down a lantern for himself as well just for the shield. As ShowMaker gets that first power spike, has that cull completed and the Trinity Force now done. So that extra money kicking in, allowing him to complete that first item. And with first item purchases, DAMWON actually do become a lot stronger. Nuclear with his Blade of the Ruin King is a big moment, as well as the Trinity Force completion for ShowMaker on top of 30% CDR now done for Nuguri. So actually, a power spike for DAMWON, even though they're down 3 kills.
The issue with it, though, is that there's no dragon on the map. It's 3.5 minutes. There's no Rift Herald as well, and now with all the turret plates going down, there's really nothing to incentivize a team fight. So even while they're power spiked, it's coming in at a point in the time where it's not really practical that they can do anything with it without Griffin just being aware and acknowledging that, hey, we just need to recall, actually, our Azir has his first core item. Renekton very close to the first core item. Essence Reaver is completed for Misfortune, and honestly, it was a really big blunder that Viper and Irove didn't manage to get the bot tier 1 turret. And so what we're going to probably end up seeing is we're going to have a kill come in at about 17.5 minutes, then we're going to have an Ocean Dragon picked up, then we're going to get right back into a lull state.
Well, I mean, that's how it's supposed to work,
yeah,
because then it needs to tick over 20 minutes before we get our second 2 kills.
Correct.
We have been a little bit late, though. We've ticked over to the 15-minute mark.
Oh, it's coming.
And now only 4.5 minutes to get that that 4th kill of the game.
Alice, don't
which
hold
is
your breath.
necessary. I mean, I'm not holding my breath.
Right.
It's an assured thing, but they are certainly lagging a little bit behind the requirements for an LCK match. Right now you can see Tarzan towards the top side, actually considering Nuguri right now, whose flash still yet to come back off cooldown, as Sword does have his available. Nuclear controlling this wave despite being down on CS.
And yeah, I mean, we're in the ping pong phase. This is where all the champions have enough damage to keep reliably shoving in waves. We have the oversized mech Decepticon up there in top lane, controlling Godzilla.
Yep, certainly a Decepticon when utilized in a composition like this. As Hoyt going to soak an auto attack with his bop and block, as Sword just taking a lot of harassment here underneath the turret. Canyon was thinking about a dive, but Jarvan Aatrox, it's not the same combination as it used to be, with no revive being there for the Aatrox. Now Griffin looking for a dive on this very, very weak turret.
Oh, man.
And the fact that Nuclear thinks that that is a point of safety is a very interesting prospect. As 4 people should be enough to take down both of these. Nuclear is going to be the first one to go down, and Hoyt absolutely nowhere to go. They've over-indexed on the kills, as we might even have another one. As Canyon goes golden, they just can't get enough damage into Sword here, as Nuguri finally gets away from this minion wave, and the World Ender was not enough to get the damage done, as he just teleports out. Sword was very scared. I don't think he necessarily needed to do that. The next minion wave did move on in, though, as too many kills so far for this stage of the game, but Griffin are grinning about it.
And Griffin, so, like I said, we were going to get the kill. We did, and we even got an extra one because of the Yuumi, the 2-for-1. So,
yep.
Apologize, I'm not psychic. Couldn't see that one coming.
Well, sometimes Yuumi does skew the expectations.
Yes. You know,
sort of you're guaranteed to get the 2-for-1 deal. It's like, you know, you took your groceries up to the counter and they said, well, actually, this is 2-for-1. Can you go and collect the other one?
Nuguri actually started taking the aggro way too soon, and then I have no idea what was going on, but they waited until all the minions were gone, which, if Sword issues an auto attack onto any of them, all of those spellcasters in the cannon will start hitting Sword. And so it adds a lot of value. And yeah, Nuclear and Hoyt down here really not realizing that was on its last leg, that turret.
Yeah.
As Griffin...
not giving you the safety that you necessarily want your turret on the bottom side of the map to do, so very easy dive for Griffin. And now the Ocean Drake has spawned, and DAMWON need to save themselves from Seoul Point by trying to get some sort of contest onto this. But we were talking about those key item pickups. Now they've been equalized by Griffin. Sword now with his Black Cleaver done. Already had his Executioner's Calling. And Ucal with his Ludens and an extra BF Sword for Viper on top of the Essence Reaver that was already built very early. He's farming very well up against Nuclear here towards the bottom side.
And so everything favors Griffin right now. The only saving grace in this team composition right now is the Corki, but still not super strong. Really surprised that Sword didn't just move over to the Ocean Dragon, but doesn't look like DAMWON are even interested in contesting, and so we're going to go to Seoul Point for Griffin. And we mentioned this in the draft phase that if DAMWON's team composition falls behind, there's no insurance, and everything is just going to ride on the Corki. And here we are in this game where they don't really do anything. Their laners did win in CS, in top lane and in mid lane. Don't forget as well that ShowMaker completed a call.
Yep.
And so, even though he ended up dying twice, that's what's keeping a lot of the gold pretty close.
Yep, turret apiece, but I'm looking at these Drakes to be the real issue, because a huge counter to poke is Ocean Drake, and if Griffin are able to get the Ocean Soul, it's almost going to be all she wrote as far as what DAMWON's composition is going to be able to function as it moves into the later stages of the game. They want to be able to whittle down their opponents and then utilize Nuguri and Canyon to hard engage when they feel like it, with a Hoyt on top of them, bouncing around with that final chapter availability. So that's going to be put to rest.
Well, Oblivion Orb, by the way, picked up for Ucal. He might actually die here. We'll see. Never mind. He's going to raise the Shurima turret.
Yeah, has his Sun turret available, so I think it'll be okay. Valkyrie to get over the wall there. ShowMaker, they don't want anything. Tarzan turning up in the nick of time. We'll be able to get rid of Vision also as Irove just zoning Nuclear and Hoyt away from this minion wave. Prowling Projectile actually starting to hurt. I believe this is hotfix 10.3, so
yes,
has been boosted just a little bit as far as that damage is concerned. In fact, most of what Yuumi had available to her has been improved.
Tarzan actually moving up here right now. And he's level 10, Canyon's level 11. The solo laners are coasting really far ahead.
Well, we have our second power spike for the Corki as the rapid fire cannon has been completed. Is it going to be enough to save them from Drake Point? We will see. It's 3 minutes on the clock for that fourth dragon to spawn. The second Ocean Drake of the game, and Griffin's opportunity to really lock it down as Viper just straight up fails.
I mean, that really
fighting.
just... if there's any
the
better clip that can just really capture this game, it's that one right there.
Oh, no.
It's definitely that. As Sejuani and Arporo, they're going to come in here, they're going to start beating on some golems. And I still didn't see Sonic.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, man.
Do you reckon we should? I feel like it's a bit of a Jim Carrey return to some of his like liar gags and stuff like that, like back in the day style. Because, you know, Jim Carrey did start doing like a lot of those more serious films, and he was actually fantastic in a large majority of them.
He went off. He just sort of disappeared for a while.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he remained in the media, but for all the wrong reasons.
I guess so. I didn't really hear much from him, but it's good to see him back in what made him famous in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it. Wouldn't mind checking it out. And, you know, now that Sonic doesn't look terrifying, probably
they did a great job at remastering him.
I mean, they probably could have done that the first time around.
You know, they could have.
Maybe show it to someone, you know, between the ages of 15 and 25, you know, at the very beginning of that planning process.
Oh, I have no idea how
that could have been good. Like, how did it get through?
I mean, how did Soraka not get through?
Well, I mean, that's a good point too.
See?
Right? Like, sometimes...
We're wondering, right?
Sometimes QA is more difficult, you know? It starts to be that hive mind situation. Everyone's like, oh, no, it's fine. Not wanting to offend anyone, as Griffin do just brute force this outer turret in the mid lane. Nuguri's completed a Spirit Visage.
We are 1 minute away from Soul Point, and I have no idea what DAMWON's intentions are. And I've said this every single time that I believe that we've cast their games together, where I have no clue what they're thinking and what their evaluations are on when they lose a game.
Do you know what they're playing like? They're playing like they assume they win late.
Oh, it's so bizarre. And
I mean, there are a lot of things that they have that do scale, right? Like,
they have Corki.
They have Corki.
They have Corki
and they have
and
Aatrox versus Renekton, which in a vacuum, theoretically, Aatrox scales better.
Well, yes, but against the Sejuani, MF, and the Azir, the Aatrox, Jarvan, they're pretty much non-factors. Lucian, non-factor as well. And so it ends up just being Corki and his cat.
Yeah.
So
Is
Atlas,
that
I'm going
going
to
to
need
be-
you to hop into a helicopter, put on some goggles, and
Well,
take
Hoyt, he's had this problem before. That's 5 people as the package was available, and ShowMaker just sidesteps the hook. Canyon considering diving on in, as that's the big one onto Irove. That is not what you want to see as Canyon dives on over. Ucal looking to potentially turn. Valkyrie, remember, still available here for ShowMaker as Prowling Projectile comes in. Viper over the wall, does have bullet time available, and Tarzan gets in there. It's a 50-50, and there's the Ocean Soul. Canyon dives in, Tarzan goes golden. There's the 2-man Shurima shuffle from Ucal, and this just might be it. It's a double kill for the MF. The cat has found Nuclear, who relentlessly pursues as far away from his opponents as possible, and this should mean Baron 8-0 so far for Griffin, and they are 1 turret away from a perfect game here at 25 minutes.
And, I mean, Ocean Soul is never losing this game. Not even Def could throw this one.
Oh, come
even,
on.
You know,
Come on.
too soon?
Yeah, it's too soon. That was yesterday.
All right.
Oh, man. Well, 3,000 gold is going to stretch by a very large margin here as Griffin go for a reset after a very easy Baron. Sword will continue pushing towards the bottom side. And this was utilization of the brushes, but honestly, it was Tarzan being able to press his smite.
Yeah, winning the smite fight, he was down 1 level. And the enemy team, obviously, I mean, they know that was a do or die, and this is a byproduct of what they ended up doing in the early stages. So, let's take a look. 680 smite ends up coming in, doesn't really matter, stopwatch. You can just see Tarzan inputting all of the buttons.
Yep. 바로 갈 생각해.
Let's think about going Baron.
멋있다.
Oh, it's really amazing or awesome.
And
And,
now,
yeah.
with the Baron, things are only going to get easier here for Griffin as they tear down their 3rd turret of the game. Nuclear trying to keep things farmed on the bottom side, but Sword is going to push up this turret, this minion wave. I don't know what DAMWON are exactly going to be able to do to stop this Baron power play.
No way they can beat Baron and Ocean Soul. I think it's almost even at a gross enough point to where Griffin could even dive a turret and be completely fine with all the healing.
Yeah.
So, right now they're just taking this very slow and steady. They have the Shurima turret behind them. And DAMWON, they can't take...
Oh god, Viper explodes. There's a Shurima shuffle to get Canyon out, but that's what he wanted to do anyway. The MF just dies for free. Viper not entirely sure what he was doing at that moment as Prowling Projectile does find Tarzan. Knockups get in there as well as Arctic Assault is utilized, but has to throw out the ultimate in order to escape, and I don't know whether it's going to be enough. As Zoomies come in, another Prowling Projectile down as well. Nuguri unable to completely follow up on that chase.
And so in the end, they end up raising a couple of turrets. They might lose the one here in mid lane. ShowMaker trying his best to end up killing it. But Tarzan going to make sure that it's held on to. Teleport now coming in from Sword.
Yep, ShowMaker doesn't have his flash, but Sword immediately has to get out. He'll take a lantern in order to spare his blushes. Ucal will come back in here. I mean, that teleport was questionable, but it's not going to change whether or not Griffin can win this game.
Well, Griffin here, we're taking a look at the replay. Viper just walking up. He has the Thresh Lantern available, but doesn't take it as the ward is put on top of it.
Yeah, I like the cancellation of the opportunity there. Now Ucal going to be stealing away some Krugs.
Yeah.
Nuclear clears out the rest of them.
A little jebaited was Viper.
But DAMWON got their first kill of the series.
Okay.
They have to talk about the positives here. And ShowMaker's spent a lot of time out on the Rift and not actually in the shop. A shopping trip probably in order to pick up his 3rd item in the Infinity Edge. As Irove just testing to see whether his buttons work, and in fact the Q does and the E does also.
And that's another turret. So all the inner turrets are gone now. Corki's still trying to just scale up.
He does have the Infinity Edge.
Yeah.
I mean, item spike number 3 to come in here. Next one going to be Mercurial Scimitar, most likely, unless he goes full greed mode, which is a secondary Zeal item to maximize that critical strike chance.
Well, Rabadon's Death Cap completed for Ucal. Likely going to be Guardian Angel next item for Sword here on this Renekton. And Viper looks like he's waiting to do something with this wave. I think that they want to align them in top. You can see maybe once Renekton gets to this wave and starts to shove it.
Yeah,
okay,
trying to get their timings right.
Right,
okay.
they're trying to actually line up their minion waves, it seems like.
ShowMaker thinking about when he wants to pick up the package.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up waiting. Nope. Yeah, actually, okay.
He's grabbed it now. You can see Elder Drake is exactly what they're thinking about fighting over, so ShowMaker wanted to be able to get into position with his package at the ready. But 3 items done for Ucal. You mentioned the Rabadon's Death Cap before. That's very scary. Viper has spent a fair bit of time out and about, so he might have some money ready to complete a rapid-fire cannon or something of that ilk. Now Canyon and Hoyt in a dangerous spot. Is now Tarzan going to be slowed. Takes a bit of damage there from ShowMaker as you and me going to be used by Hoyt just to bounce around these fights and skirmishes. The Yuumi is getting more and more valuable, but see Canyon can't be face-checking these all day, and they don't have the luxury of this Ocean Soul.
And DAMWON might just try to flip the Elder Dragon, get it, and then try to win a team fight.
I mean, it didn't work out last time. I don't know why it would work now, but let's see whether DAMWON can just out-skill their opponents, as there's the package. They just want to take down Sword before the fight even happens, but lanterns are really powerful.
Yeah.
So now it's the package in trade just for a lantern and half of Sword's health bar that will be refilled very soon.
Well, Canyon coming over here and trying to hit Tarzan, and they're continuing to leash this Elder. They don't really take a lot of damage. Tarzan's in the pit now.
Yep, coins in the air, everyone. Down to about half health is the Elder Drake, as there's the redemption, getting all the health back here for Griffin. Nuguri thinking about when his time to engage is going to be. Remember, Ucal, if they're all stacked up like this, it's going to be his time to shine. This is real dicey.
They're all stacked up, and if everyone just goes in, they can't just stand their ground.
Well, that's exactly what Tarzan saw as well. Canyon's going to dive in. Shurima Shuffle going to be used just to get rid of the Canyon. ShowMaker is going to get out, but he's only limping. And Griffin make the intelligent choice. They're just going to take the Elder Drake because it's given to them on a silver platter.
So that's what I was just saying right before the fight ended up breaking out, is if Griffin just run in at them with the Azir, with the Thresh, with the Renekton, Yuumi can't just stand still and do a defensive Cataclysm while Corki and Lucian try to fight. The healing is too much on Griffin, and bullet time will evaporate their front line. And they're just going to laugh at the amount of damage that Lucian and Corki try to dish out on the champions that's not MF and Azir because they can't reach them. And so the Renekton, Thresh, and Sejuani, paired with that Ocean Soul and just their innate durability, is going to be so valuable.
Well, you saw it certainly was. That's going to be Elder Drake and the Baron buff. They're going to lose a couple of turrets for it, but they're not going to be too worried. And I like that, you know, Ucal wasn't thinking about just making the flashy play. The Emperor's Divide used just to make sure that the Jarvan is going to be away from his team and creates a wall of soldiers that is now an extra soldier long that Viper can shoot a bullet time past. And honestly, at that point, it was checkmate.
Well, this is honestly going a bit longer than it probably should, but
sometimes you got to dot some I's and cross some T's, you know?
Okay.
And enjoy your time on the Rift. I mean, Griffin have had some worrisome games. This is not one of them. So may as well absorb it. You know, try and let it empower you for what could be a difficult game number 2. Because an angry DAMWON is a scary DAMWON.
Well,
this game, not a scary DAMWON.
Not a scary DAMWON.
No.
No.
Irove, I mean, maybe that's a scary call. Here's Tarzan's looking for him, but ShowMaker flashes to get out of the way. Not going to get ulted up either, as they do take down the inhibitor turret to start this one off. Canyon down to half health. He's supposed to be a tanky Jarvan, but it just doesn't look like he is one. this stage of the game. Ucal going to pop over the wall, and now the siege is on. First Nexus turret should be taken down. Here's the culling just eaten by Tarzan for breakfast. He loved it. An enjoyable one there. A sword is going to get kited here by ShowMaker. Fair bit of damage going to come down as MF going to take out the Jarvan first. Not a lot of damage there from the Emperor's Divide, but it looks like Griffin just have enough money in their back pockets in order to win this one, as Hoyt says, nah, sorry, Nuguri. I am getting off this wild ride. Take me back. Take me back to the beginning of this game. As Griffin will be able to take down this Nexus. Sword goes golden on the fountain, almost gets Tarzan killed, and eventually, oh no! Saved from defeat there. As Griffin do lock down game one against DAMWON, I think against most people's expectations.